to Uncle fucking Donnie. Alright, here's some stories about that old fuck. Love him to death, still miss that fucker. So, these stories really show how much impact you can have, whether you know it or not, because this guy really affects me to this day. What I mean by that is kind of what he taught helps me a bit. Alright, so Donnie was an old guy, white hair, ex-military. I didn't know he was ex-military until after he died. Unfortunately, I didn't know he died until after the funeral. People didn't get in touch, and I carried resentment for that for a while, but I let that go. It is what it is, you know, and this isn't going to be the best ending when I get to that portion, but here we go. So Uncle Donnie, when I met him, was living in the back room of the bar that I was booking there. I was already booking there, never saw this guy, never talked to this guy, nothing. Next thing I know, he's sleeping on the couch in the back room, which is a side room. We call it the back room, but you've heard the stories before, it's a side, right? So that's a communal room that people can go in pretty much whenever, snort coke and do whatever the fuck else they want to do all day long at this point in time, right? Let's just be honest about this shit, right? So it went from what, never met this guy to, he's living here now, the owner and, you know, the husband say he is. He's gonna do some janitorial and all that, and that's what he did. He didn't really do any of the bouncing or anything like that. You know, that wasn't his thing. Alright, what's the best way to put it? He had a very short beard, glasses, kind of square glasses. Always had this red baseball cap, right? Always. Same damn red cap. I actually almost got a tattoo of red hat, but I'm like, I don't want it to be any gang stuff or whatever. I don't want people think that. And then, you know, he had this plastic glass that he would drink vodka out of. And, yeah, just a great, great dude. I've mentioned him in stories, but this is the kind of guy he was. At one point, I'm sitting at the bar. He's to my right. And something's off. So I'm like, Uncle Donnie, what's wrong, dude? Like, what's wrong? Is there something I have to take care of? What the hell's up? Because something's not right. And he's like, I think I might have to get a gun. And I'm like, shit, Uncle Donnie, why the fuck do you need a gun, man? Like, who's fucking with you? Can we talk it out? Can we make something happen? Even if I can't, can I go to somebody? You know what I'm saying? I know maybe not everyone has the best view of my uncle now. I don't know. I know some people knew my uncle in a different way than what I did, but I'm gonna call him my uncle because that's what he was to me. He, you know, showed me a lot of shit. You know, and ways to act and all that, because no matter what the situation was, normally he would be in a, sometimes he'd be a little grumpy, sometimes he'd be a little bit of an asshole, but usually he was in a very good, pleasant mood, right? Let me explain to you real quick. Me and the guy that were, me and the other guy that booked there, that were working together or whatever, right? Uncle Donnie's asleep on the couch that's facing away from the wall, right? So what we do is we move it, we turn it around, turn the lights off. When he goes to the bathroom in the middle of the night, he walks into the wall. Now, when we come in, as soon as we get in the door, I think he spotted us on the camera because there was a monitor that was showing the back parking lot, and one of the monitors was showing that feed. So probably saw us before we even fucking came in. As soon as we came in, fucker, fuckers, fucker 1, fucker 2. And that's what he called us ever since. You know, fuckers. He called me fucker all the time, and, you know, I took it as a badge of honor because he was laughing about it. He's like, oh, that's a good one. So, yeah, for as bad as his life was, for the most part, anytime I was around him, his attitude was up and positive. I mean, I've known a lot of people like that. My brother Mikey in the wheelchair. Mikey Doran, right? You know, so, you never know. Is what I'm getting at. What they're going through and all that. But, like I said, he thought he might need a gun. There was somebody there, little pissant, if you ask me, that had a coke problem and for some reason didn't like something my uncle said or did or whatever, and I could never get to the bottom of what it was. There was no good reason that I could make out why there was a problem there, but there was a problem there, and it was obvious. Very, very obvious, to be honest with you. And this time, it wasn't on my uncle's side. Not that I've ever seen it be on my uncle's side, but something tells me that he wasn't the best guy beforehand, you know, getting to the point that he was at. He lost his place, wasn't living with family, and was living in a side room of a bar where anyone could walk in at any fucking time. You know what I'm saying? So, for all that going on, you know, that's a fucking lot to deal with for anybody. But, he didn't get a gun. Things got squashed. For all the crazy people that we had there, me included, we were all somewhat insane. You know, you had to be to hang out in a place like that. You knew who was going to be around, and, you know, just navigating that whole thing can be a chore for some people, but once you're in, you're in. And the first day I met him, he was in. You know what I'm saying? I remember one night, I just wasn't having the best night. There were some people annoying the living shit out of me, right? And he knew it. I'm walking down, about to order a beer, and the spot on the bar that's open is right next to Uncle Donnie. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, alright. Awesome. At least it's Uncle Donnie, it's not some dickhead or whatever. You know, don't have to do anything, say anything. We're good. If he feels like talking, I'll talk. As soon as I get up there, hello, my son. How may I help you? Like a fucking priest, that son of a bitch, man. Had me fucking dying. It's like, this is our nightly services. Confession is in an hour. Had me fucking, as aggravated as I was, he cut right through the bullshit. He knew exactly how to do it. Alright? You know what I'm saying? So, part of the story with him always is, and that I always try to keep in mind is, maybe people see different sides of you, right? Like, I'm sure his family saw a different side of him than I ever saw. Right? We weren't blood, but I consider him an uncle to this day. So, that is what it is. Plain and simple. But I don't know what he was before. I don't know what he did before. I didn't know that he was a soldier or, you know, in the military at all. I didn't know shit. All I knew is, hey, this guy treats me with respect, treats my people with respect, and is getting respect, for the most part, from the people that I respect. So, that means that this man right here is one to look out for and protect. And sometimes that's all it is. People like to think it's toughness and all this other shit that makes people, you know, stand up for you and take your side. That's some straight up bullshit. Because I'm telling you right now, there's people that I know that I'd take a bullet for just as quick as I would my mom, dad, or brother because they're just as much family to me. They may as well have my last name, my blood in their veins. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. And it's that way from people just, you know, looking out, being honest, and treating you with fucking respect. It's simple, you know, and that's part of the reason that he made such an impact, and that's part of what he took from me. But also at the same point, here's the sad fucking part, and I know there's a lot of people that are still fucking cussing him out due to this shit. So Uncle Donnie got an infection, right? I wasn't around when this happened. He was given some shit to deal with it, right? To wipe it out. Antibiotics. He gave them away. Now some people would say that's selfless or whatever the fuck, but anyone that knows, or knew, because no one knows him anymore, anyone that knew Donnie knows what that is. You know what I'm saying? So even with how great of a guy he was and everything else, that doesn't mean he wasn't dealing with shit that I could have done a little bit more, or other people couldn't. I'm not saying that, you know, things have changed or whatever the fuck, but, and I'm not blaming anybody, not blaming myself. What happened happened. Nobody could stop it. It was emotion. You know what I mean? But people are stronger than what you think. People can survive more than what you think. But there's a lot more going on in that fucking mind than what you ever know for the most part. You can't tell everything someone's thinking. It's impossible. No matter how well you know. But with Donnie, he was there for a lot of the good nights. I still remember. Instead of ending it on a sad note about this old fuck. Alright, so me and my ex were together. We're at the bar, and you know, I know people that can sing their asses off. Mikey, for example, he has one of the best country voices in the fucking world, and nobody goddamn knows it. I've been a lucky son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of the new style country or whatever like that, but he can do 90s, whatever. 90s ain't really my shit either, but I'm telling you what, he'd make Trailer Park Panties drop right fucking now. But Donnie didn't sing. Wouldn't sing. All that. So, how the bar was laid out is it's a long bar, right? Mirror behind it, of course, and then the bottles and shit. You know, basic normal shit. Cooler over here, and then over on, if you're facing the bar to the left, there's a little like kitchen area. And then if you come back from the kitchen area and go to the left, that's the cutout where the stage was. Okay. Why am I giving this whole layout? I forget.